Hello, everyone. This is Susan Gerbic speaking to you about GSoW, the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia project. And today I have a major treat. This is a twofer. I have Walkiria and Ryan, and they are speaking to us from England. Where are you guys at?
We're in Bexhill in the south of England. It's not far from Brighton, you may have heard of, and about 60 miles, 100 kilometres south of London.
And the really cool part about this is you're going to get 3 different accents because I'm in California, and then, of course, Ryan's got that obvious accent. Walkiria, she's from, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Well, which part? It's a big country.
Well, it's, yeah, I know. It's more the northern. It's not like the most common and stereotypical part of Mexico. Northern part of Mexico, state of Sonora, it borders Arizona.
You joined the GSoW project in May 23rd, 2013, after reading Phil Plate's article on Slate blog about us. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't remember who did the editing, but they had done his Bad Astronomy book Wikipedia page. He basically wrote, I love you guys, etc., etc. Well, maybe not that big. But yeah, I've been reading his blog for ages now. And, well, he talked about this, and I was reading, oh, yeah, we do Wikipedia, we do this. And really, for the last months before that, and maybe even before that, I've always thought about wanting to do something. In a way, Phil Plait inspires you to want to do something. But I never really had any idea of how to get into it. Because, well, I'm from Mexico. There's not much to do. No conferences, no anything. So when he finally said that there's this group that's in your internet, and it's internationally based, like you can be anywhere, you just have to edit Wikipedia, and I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. That was the first thought I had, like, oh, that's cool, I'll help in some way without having to move the country. But then it also was, oh, really, you can edit Wikipedia? And yes, I was that kind of person that didn't know that Wikipedia could be edited by everybody, really, literally, anybody who has an internet connection. After reading that article, I must have waited 10 minutes before I sent you an email. And that's my story, really.
So, Ryan.
Yes, hi.
What's your excuse?
Well, I edited Wikipedia, I think, as early as 2007. And it was things I knew a little bit about. I, started at university doing sciencey stuff with physics and fiber optics and so on. And there were a few areas I knew something about, which I noticed little things that could be improved. And so I noticed you could edit, so I clicked on the links and found out how. I wasn't really very good at sourcing my edits in those days, but in those days they were kind of keen to expand Wikipedia as fast as possible, not so tight on the quality, but now it's established, certainly in English and other major languages. It seems that there's a lot more of a focus on the rules, I suppose, and making sure that you cite all your sources and everything else. And I would occasionally dip in and edit things when I noticed things that wanted an edit, but didn't do a heck of a lot really until about 2012, 2013. I'm a bit keen on audio geekery, sadly. Things like audio codecs and things, the things with, types of codecs we're talking on the internet over now. And there were various things. I would look at articles on Wikipedia, and somebody said on a forum I was on, I can't edit this because I'm involved, it would be a conflict of interest, but I've talked on the talk page, and I looked in there and thought, this article's got lots of citations needed. I edited that, and I started looking around at other things. I was listening to some podcasts by that stage. Once I'd probably only really discovered skeptical podcasts in about 2011, 2012, and I'd always been sort of skeptical, but not really had a name for it, or a group, an organisation, any sort of organised skepticism. There were no skeptics in the pub that I knew of in this area, wouldn't necessarily have thought of going. And then I sort of read a couple of books. Bad Science by Ben Goldacre is one of them. A friend of mine gave it to me, and I absolutely loved it. I also read Richard Wiseman's book, Co-Ecology, which was fascinating. And I found all sorts of little things that I was interested in sort of investing, and I'd heard various things about the tricks that your mind can play on you when you're investing that can lead you to bad decisions. So from that angle, from audio as well, when you're testing these codecs like MP3 and things, and the different encoders to see how good they are, you can fool yourself into thinking you hear a difference when you can't actually hear a difference. And as soon as you randomize them and don't know which one you're looking at, a double-blind trial, all of a sudden you discover that there's less difference than you thought, or none at all, and you actually can't hear that clear discrepancy you could hear between one sound and the original. So all these things led me to thinking about, power of the mind to fool us and skepticism, and I ended up sort of listening to lots of podcasts. The SGU came up very early on when I looked around for what podcasts were available. Then Skepticality was hot on their heels, and I was been listening for about as long as I've been listening to podcasts, and Tim Farley and yourself both joined in probably, 2012, 2013, I imagine?
I was 2013. He was 2012, I think.
And I started to get interested in his Skeptools blog a little bit. And then you came in, and around about that time, somebody posted, I was following the Merseyside Skeptic Society because I listened to their Skeptics with a K podcast at the time. Somebody posted, we've got I think it was Michael Marshall actually, he posted that we've got a new Wikipedia page. And I looked at it and I thought, this is great. Very, very thorough page, well cited, looks really good. And then I looked on the talk page and it said, this has been nominated for a good article. Would you like to review it? And I saw no one else volunteering, so I thought, I'll click on the link to how you review it, and found out how, and I went through and reviewed it. And as it turned out, I didn't know at the time, it was actually part of the GSoW project. And Bill was the contributor, I believe, Mr. Bill, had authored the page, done really good citations. And at the time, I happened to also be looking around YouTube, and the JREF posted a video, and that was your talk.
Was I wearing a silly hat?
You're wearing the silly hat, yes. I just thought, this is really brilliant. You actually, all this problem with sort of confronting people goes away when you have GSoW, because people are doing their own research. They're open to ideas. They're open to persuasion. Without it, they can see what makes sense to them. If they have all the facts presented fairly with a genuine, true balance of what's considered good facts against what's considered not so good facts or downright pseudoscience, people can make up their own minds on things like homeopathy or vaccines or whatever. And with vaccines, I'm very excited about the vaccine project that we're involved with now on GSoW. Well, after I looked at the Merseyside Skeptics page and I did the review, I thought, I think I could get interested in this skepticism, and I thought, I heard something about this on Skepticality. Oh, it must be this Wiki Project Skepticism it says it's part of. And I think, between that and the video I'd just seen as well, it all basically persuaded me I've got to get into this project. I think I'd only recently joined Facebook as well, so that was an easy way of getting in touch. I didn't really know what I was doing on Facebook. So in a swirl of things, I started to sort of get more interested in editing and skepticism parts of editing, and I realised it was very powerful because you actually can reach people when they're receptive. You can just, if you change a few minds, you may never know you've changed them. I think you might save lives by keeping people who have, say, a cancer or something. You know all about that, Susan. And if you keep them actually having genuine medicine, okay, they can take alternatives as well as a supplement, and it probably won't do them any harm unless it's something herbal like that does have a pharmacological effect, like St. John's wort or something. But generally speaking, if you can keep people believing in proper scientifically tested medicine, you can hopefully save lives. And at the same time, I think I'd been reading Tim's What's the Harm blog, Tim Farley's. That was convincing me that there were many thousands of people who were being killed by belief in alternative medicine. So I can imagine there is an increasing trend in people following skepticism. As more people get smartphones, they'll be able to access more information, and they'll be able to listen to podcasts that perhaps they didn't have an iPod in the past. And, more people are getting involved and perhaps starting to discover things. So I can imagine we'll get more people joining GSoW, and perhaps if we can continue to demonstrate that we can train people in a friendly environment where they don't have to go through all the hoops that fall at the hurdles you fall at when you're trying to learn it through Wikipedia's own mechanisms, I can well imagine that we may end up attracting people who'd be interested in in changing the world from their sofa or from their armchair.
Like you say, what is it? Armchair skepticism?
Yeah, you don't have to confront people.
Yeah. If they don't want to confront people, they don't have to go into the controversial topics like I have been running away from those ones. But I think not everybody realizes how important Wikipedia is. I think they know it, but they haven't got it in their heads. So everybody goes there. Everybody has to realize Wikipedia is the answer for most of the non-believers. And maybe not even the non-believers. Everybody keeps saying, don't preach to the choir, but they don't do it. They keep preaching to the choir. They keep trying to convert, in a way, hardcore believers. You don't need to go to that side, and you don't need to go to the ones that already believe in the same stuff that you do. You need to go to the middle ones. The ones that are not extremists, the ones that are calm and rational and need somebody to tell them, look, this is how the things are. I'm not telling you to be extremist or anything. I'm just giving you info and you can decide. The people who really don't know exactly what their opinion about something is. So, and Wikipedia is that form of nudging. It's not pushing you. It's not bullying you. It's not shouting at you. It's just, look at this information and you form your own idea of what you believe in or what you think this is.
And all the rules of Wikipedia, like the fringe theories rules and the undue balance rules, which Tim Farley pointed out and you've run with, Susan, they really protect the articles. If you get good citations and you can demonstrate that something is scientifically highly dubious, you can state that fact and it can't be removed. And fortunately for us as well, a huge number of Wikipedia editors who've gone through the hard way through Wikipedia, learning to edit, there are a huge number of people who really have absorbed those rules and are very sceptical. And in fact, most of the controversial topics we've ever noticed where people have thought it might be us, and it usually hasn't been GSoW, it's just a load of regular Wikipedia editors who are very keen and enthusiastic and follow the rules. They may even not know they're skeptics, but they're following the rules that basically have a good skeptical foundation. And there are some people on there who have said, I am a skeptic, but we know they're not in GSoW. And I think they've got our backs as well, because essentially they're doing the work on the controversial issues. Wikipedia is a very nice view of the world in a way, because you get to see there's a heck of a lot of people with good sound opinions and a good sound grasp of what really means evidence. The fact that you can't allow falsehoods to sit on Wikipedia pages unchallenged.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. If nobody listens to this interview but me, I'm really enjoying this. I didn't know any of this. This is fantastic. I love knowing what it was that was your mindset and how you guys kind of just evolved and fell into my lap. This is really cool. Thank you so much for taking out the time to talk.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.